How's it going, everybody? So in this video, I'm going to be talking to y'all about one of my favorite tonic herbs slash adaptogens of all time. Okay, this is one of the most potent performance enhancing and also health and life enhancing supplements or herbs or practices that I've ever implemented into my routine. And I've had multiple friends, family members, clients, and other people as well who have all said a very similar thing, at least when they're taking a high quality brand, of course, because there's a lot of nonsense and junk on the market. And this is Cordyceps. I'm talking about Cordyceps, right? So Cordyceps is essentially you think of it as a flesh-eating mushroom or a parasitic mushroom that I believe was originally extracted from caterpillars, and it basically would consume the caterpillar and feed off of it, and then produce a lot of medicinal kind of compounds from that process. And humans for thousands of years would cultivate this parasitic mushroom Cordyceps and consume it for medicinal and performance enhancing effects. So some of the things I want to kind of tell y'all straight off the bat, the benefits of Cordyceps are profound. It's unlike it's more potent than any other supplement or herb or anything like that I've ever taken. It's something that you can definitely notice right off the bat. So some of the benefits would be an increase in energy, and we're talking when we talk about energy, it actually boosts the two primary sources of energy. Okay, so there is two different sources of energy. Number one is the physical energy, right? Things like energy substrates and the physical kind of fuel that our body actually uses to produce energy. And in this case, Cordyceps has been shown to potentially improve the recycling process of ATP. And what that kind of translates into actual kind of practical application would be, if you're doing sprints or you're doing some really high intensity interval training, or really what it'd be perfect for would be wrestling and jiu-jitsu, kind of like those 30 to 60 second high intensity scrambles where it's like super high intensity for about 30 to 60 seconds at a time, and then there's a little bit of a 20-second gap in between, and then it's just repeated bouts of high intensity exercise that is prolonged in nature, right? The glycolytic and more specifically the anaerobic capacity realm, okay, for those of you, or lactic capacity and lactic power. Those are the specific energy systems that I've seen in the research and I've also felt and experienced in my own training that Cordyceps seems to boost dramatically and noticeably. And so that would generally be about 30 to 120 seconds of high intensity output. Okay, that would be the threshold at which I see the most tremendous benefits towards. And I'd recommend y'all look into the definition of lactic capacity and lactic power, as well as alactic capacity, alactic power, and then some of these other energy systems as well. Okay, a lot of people just think zone 1 cardio, zone 2 cardio, aerobic and anaerobic, but they don't understand all the subcategories that are very important to understand. Anyway, on top of improving that kind of high-end threshold, right, of energy output, it also tremendously seems to benefit work capacity, your overall ability to sustain longer durations of work, okay? So, and this is very beneficial for everyday life. And a lot of the scientific research on Cordyceps has suggested that this tends to be the case. Has been one of its main traditional uses as well, is improving the body's overall capacity to endure longer durations of work, being able to sustain output for longer periods of time. So in my life, where I've seen this be the case would be, because I'm a personal trainer, And there's times where I'm literally up on my feet showing people how to deadlift and other things, pacing back and forth and being held in a squat and stuff like that. Not only physically demanding, where I'm constantly on my feet doing these kind of like little, exercises and things, but also needing to be mentally sharp because I'm also kind of thinking and problem solving on the go while also socializing all at the same time, right? Emotionally demanding, mentally demanding, and physically demanding. And sustaining that for 4 to 5 hours at a time, oftentimes. I'll have back-to-back clients with no break. And those of you know my routine, I only eat one meal a day on most of my days these days, although it kind of changes nowadays with my new routine. And so, most people would not be able to sustain that no matter what, right? But yeah, I've noticed Cordyceps dramatically improves my ability to endure that, and in a dose-dependent fashion. I mean, not only, the more Cordyceps I take, the less I notice any fatigue in the background, right? The less tired I get on these longer days. And mind you, I also tend to train jiu-jitsu, at least when I have time and I'm not, working all day. 2 to 3, sometimes 4 sessions of jiu-jitsu a day during my most intense training periods when I have the time to train that much, on top of training clients in between, and about 2 hours of high intensity strength training, right? And that means squats, deadlifts, overhead presses, bench presses, stuff like that. Some of the most physically demanding exercises, all within that same day. Okay, so Cordyceps dramatically improves your ability to endure such things. I'm not telling everyone that you're going to be able to do all the hardcore training that I do, and on top of having a physically demanding job and stuff. But what I am saying is, it'll make it a lot more tolerable for y'all. Okay. Traditionally, and so I've also, a lot of my clients, some of my clients who have taken Cordyceps, right? Because I don't, generally they'll ask me about things like this, and a lot of them will already be taking like a junk product, like Host Defense or something, right? And I'll be like, look, and they'll ask me about it. Have you ever heard of this and whatnot? And I'll be like, well, look, Host Defense, tried it, absolute bullshit. If you want a high quality product, Cordyceps, Hyperion Herbs Cordyceps, absolute best product you can get on the market. And I say that with confidence because I've been taking this for over 6 years now. And I've tried all sorts of different brands. And I mean, if you understand the difference between, actual standardized extracts, concentrate extracts, mycelium, dual extract versus, a hot water or just an alcoholic or a CO2 extract or what have you, you'll be able to tell for yourself just by understanding the type of process and extraction that this goes through, why it's such a superior product. But on a potency level, you take one of those like Host Defense or those other products, you might fart a little bit because a lot of those are actually filled with brown rice, and they standardize the beta-glucan content that can come from the rice or the oats or whatever that it's raised on itself. This has absolutely zero rice or oats, and I believe it's actually the process doesn't even include any grain for it growing. It's it's a liquid fermentation extract, I believe. One of the highest grade extracts you can actually get on the market, Hyperion Herbs. So I highly recommend Hyperion Herbs above all else because, like I said, you will not feel the Host Defense worth a damn. And I thought I did at first. I was like, oh, the Host Defense is good. Or some of these other brands like Om Mushrooms and some of these others, or even Real Mushrooms, which is a okay brand, but it's not really groundbreaking. I was like, I love the Cordyceps. I feel it, whatever. But then when I tried Hyperion Herbs, because it was more expensive, so I was like, I don't know if I want to invest. When I finally did, I was like, holy crap. Like, I'd only taken like a half a teaspoon, And I just felt this insane boost in energy. I felt like I was on God mode suddenly. And it was very profound the first couple days I took it. It's pretty unbelievable, the amount of energy I had got. And I have been taking Hyperion Herbs Cordyceps ever since. And I've been taking Hyperion Herbs Cordyceps pretty much every single month consistently since 2020, 2021, something like that. It's been about 3 years now that I've been taking Hyperion Herbs Cordyceps specifically, almost every day. And the boost in energy and the boost of endurance that I've got from it is profound. There's a reason why I've been taking it nonstop ever since. Okay. Anyway, so and I believe I do have a discount code. I'm gonna look through my email and try to put it down in the description if I can find it. But I'm not like there's not like an endorsement or some crazy stuff like that. It's legitimately the most potent stuff you can find, and that is why I'm like so hyped and enthusiastic about Hyperion Herbs. And those who have been following me for a while know that I have been, talking about Hyperion Herbs and only taking their products when it comes to what they sell this entire time, right? For a while, for years now. Anyway, and it is a smaller company. One guy owns the company, and he's just really a tonic herb enthusiast, and it's more about sharing his passion for tonic herbs, his knowledge for tonic herbs, his experience and potency, rather than trying to like make a quick buck by scamming people like a lot of these bigger companies do. Okay, so if you like supporting local companies that are, top shelf brands, specialty companies that are run by one person who's an enthusiast, definitely Hyperion Herbs. All right. Anyway, so another thing is one of my clients actually surprised me. He was taking like a half a teaspoon of the Cordyceps for a while, and he was telling me that was, once he added that, it was like the lights turned on. Once he added Cordyceps, it was like the lights turned on, because I had him take he was taking my Panax Red Ginseng, American Ginseng, and Cordyceps thing that I was taking, right? And he, by his own accordance, decided to add like up his dose of Cordyceps to 2 teaspoons, because he was like, man, like I really noticed the Cordyceps, like holy crap, this is the thing. So he started taking 2 teaspoons, he told me, and I was like, wow, that's but it echoes my experience too. So follow me on Instagram at Coach Wolfgang VL, and you'll see one of my pinned posts is a reel. It's highlights from one of my jiu-jitsu tournaments as a white belt. I took I took maybe 2 tablespoons of Cordyceps that day. That's a lot of Cordyceps, okay, of this Hyperion Herbs extract, of the Hyperion Herbs Cordyceps. And I weighed in about 15 pounds lighter than all my opponents. I weighed in at like 190 pounds. All my opponents were 205, 210 pounds. And I beat four opponents that were like 15 pounds heavier than me that day. And during that period of time, I was on a strict ketogenic diet. It was targeted, though. I ate a little bit of honey before training sessions, but 1 meal a day, okay, at the very end of every day. But I had this crazy tonic herb routine I was taking. At that time, I was legitimately taking Hyperion Herbs Cordyceps, Hyperion Herbs when they were selling pine pollen, and nettle root extract and black ant. That was my routine. I think I was taking Mucuna as well, which Hyperion Herbs actually had stopped selling around that time, but I was taking their white Mucuna extract. And actually be on the lookout, because I believe Hyperion Herbs is going to be releasing that Mucuna again soon. And that was the most amazing I've ever felt, ever. And I just destroyed the competition. Training, I was just killing it during that time. And I think a big thing that helped on top of Hyperion Herbs Mucuna was the Cordyceps, right? And the black ant extract as well, I believe. But yeah, I took 2 tablespoons before that, and I just destroyed the competition, okay? So some other things to know about Cordyceps, right? So we talked about how it seems to improve the recycling of ATP and the kind of like anaerobic energy system. But since it also boosts your work capacity, you could wager that it probably improves the aerobic capacity as well. And really, the aerobic is the dominant fuel source that is always running in the background, empowering the anaerobic and everything else. It's all one energy system, technically, just kind of broken down and expressed in different ways and different thresholds, right? But Cordyceps, there's a couple other things about it. So there's some evidence to suggest that it seems to help to boost and really modulate the dopamine system over time in a way that can make dopamine receptors more sensitive. So you know how a lot of people are kind of like scared of taking caffeine because it's going to, burn out the dopamine system over time, in addition to the other fear-mongering about cortisol and stuff. Or people are scared of taking some dopamine agonists or precursors, or things like people are scared of taking things like mucuna, or scared of taking things like tyrosine because they boost dopamine, and people are scared of burning out their dopamine receptors. Well, I strongly feel that Cordyceps actually helps to improve the sensitivity and kind of like maintain the sensitivity of the dopamine system overall. And you might actually find more kind of like anti-prolactin type effects. You know how prolactin's kind of like that lazy, lethargic, anti-libido type hormone or neurotransmitter that seems to antagonize dopamine and antagonize testosterone, so to speak, right? So to speak, that's the way I would think you should conceptualize it. I believe Cordyceps helps to kind of offset that in a way, right? Interestingly enough, there was a intervention trial on advanced level and endurance athletes that showed over a 16-week training cycle, and I believe it was an overreaching cycle. It was a peaking cycle where they increased their workload dramatically, right? And these are elite level professional endurance athletes. It was a 16-week trial. They actually showed a combination of cordyceps and cordyceps and reishi mushroom, not by Hyperion herbs, but reishi and cordyceps extracts, and I believe that they were the fruiting body extracts, actually had dramatically improved the testosterone to cortisol ratio over time, right? And for those who don't know, testosterone to cortisol ratio is a marker of how recovered or how so-called overtrained you are during a training period. One of the only measurable markers we have of so-called overtraining syndrome is the testosterone to cortisol ratio above all else, besides like things like resting heart rate and things like that, right? And so what they found was a combination of cordyceps and reishi actually dramatically improved the testosterone to cortisol ratio in a way that kind of suggested a positive adaptation and a dramatically reduced fatigue effect or damaging effect of the training. So, the way you can conceptualize that is that you were recovering a lot better and adapting to training a lot better from taking that combination of cordyceps and reishi. So I'm not telling people to take reishi, although if you are interested in trying that exact protocol in that study, Hyperion Herbs does sell reishi as well, and it also is some of the best on the market for sure. Okay, and a little side note on Hyperion Herbs reishi. Reishi was actually the herb that got the founder of Hyperion Herbs to start taking herbs to begin with. And he's been taking reishi since like 2007 or something like that. So if you really think about herbs and things, and he has all these stories on his YouTube for free, right? talking about his history of reishi. It's pretty profound. So, for me, I would much rather take, herbs from someone who has been open about their experience for decades, and that this person is an expert in that field, rather than some like big name brand from some dude who wrote some books and, does lectures and whatever else. And then you see like labdoor.com or like, Consumer Reports talking about some of the bad things about their products, basically, or how they're impotent or not, whatever. Not to mention Hyperion Herbs has third-party testing. But yeah, so what was I saying? Highly beneficial for training and improving adaptations, right? So yeah, in that regard, there's evidence that cordyceps can improve testosterone, dopamine functioning, prolactin, work capacity, anaerobic and aerobic kind of endurance, I guess you can say. So all around. One more thing I'll mention, and it says so on the back of the package as well of this one at least. And you can research it, but essentially cordyceps was a primary part of the Summer Olympics, 1993 Summer Olympics. Chinese woman track and field team made 9 world records and won several gold medals in the 1993 Summer Olympics. And this the Chinese women's track and field team was on record saying that they were taking a combination, like a Chinese medicine concoction formula that included cordyceps as a primary part of their herb routine. And when you look at, and so of course a lot of people were saying that it was actually steroids, and they just claimed that cordyceps was like, a cop out, but it's really steroids. But the fact is, number one, that should not be a surprise when you see the scientific evidence, the traditional usage of cordyceps, the fact that this was a Chinese Olympic team, okay? Of course, they're going to look to Chinese medicine to help improve performance. It shouldn't surprise you that they were mentioning cordyceps as a reason why they were winning those medals and things. So, and it's not just the Chinese women's track and field team on the 1993 Summer Olympics that was using cordyceps as a performance enhancer. There were several other Olympic athletes who had also talked about using cordyceps to boost their performance and things before that. And so that was one of the main reasons why I decided to use it during my jiu-jitsu tournaments, right? And really, increase the dosage. And I had won another gold medal, like April of this year, actually, in jiu-jitsu. And it was actually my blue belt debut. And to be honest, I was not expecting to do good or to win in it, because I didn't feel like I was ready for blue belt yet. And I was working so much during that time that it was hard for me to find time to train. But I had actually gotten a sponsorship during that time, and it was a lot of money. And I felt like it wouldn't make any sense for me to just take it for granted and not, take advantage of the sponsorship that I was offered. So I was like, all right, I'm sponsored. I might as well compete, right? And I was taking cordyceps, a lot of cordyceps. And I took the 2 tablespoons cordyceps for that tournament, and I ended up winning gold. So obviously it's not just the cordyceps that helped me win. I am a fucking beast, especially just genetically and just my mentality and my energy and whatnot. Most people don't have the energy and the mindset I have, which I think trumps all. Even with good training, if you don't have the mindset I have, it's big. Because when it's game day, I'm like a hungry hyena. I turn into a savage carnivore. I'm like, I have thoughts going through my head that most people would be like, even though I'm like a happy-go-lucky motherfucker most of the time. Not like they're angry thoughts. They're just brutal thoughts. Let's put it that way. Anyway, I'd say Cordyceps definitely helped me in that regard. Took home gold medal in the blue belt debut when I didn't even feel like I was going to win, didn't feel like I was ready, whatever, and I still fucking won. So, yeah, I think Hyperion Herbs Cordyceps was a big kind of thing that helped me with that. I was also taking Panax Red Ginseng during that time at a high dose, and I was taking Hyperion Herbs Black Ant extract at high doses as well. So, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Cordyceps, highly recommend checking into it for all things sports performance, being able to endure longer periods of work, all that stuff. A lot of people, they're like, oh, I just want more energy, I want more energy. But, I don't know if, I think a lot of people, when they say they want more energy, what they mean is they want to improvement in their mood or something, right? And in that case, something like Mucuna prurens, which Hyperion Herbs might be releasing a new Mucuna product soon. Mucuna would be more applicable for people who are not trying to do a bunch of physical work during the day. And when they say they want more energy, what they mean is they want a more uplifted, enthusiastic mood. Mucuna would be better for that. But when we're talking energy, if you're saying you have some housework to do and you just feel physically drained, not mentally drained, physically drained, right? Or you have a physical job, like a labor job, construction or something, or if you're an athlete, or you don't feel like you have the energy to go out to a thrift store on vacation and go walking through shopping malls with your friends, your family, or significant other. Cordyceps can really help with all of those things, as well as improving your overall health, which maybe we'll talk about that in a different video. So highly recommend Cordyceps. And again, if you're going to buy Cordyceps, do not waste your money on the fake shit, okay? Fake shit meaning most of the name brands that you'll find on Amazon, at the grocery store, all of that. And I don't even think, it's better than nothing. I don't think so at all. I think you're better not wasting your money on bullshit brands. If you are going to buy Cordyceps or any tonic herb, buy the best stuff first, because then you will know how it actually is supposed to feel and affect you. And then in the future, you'll have a baseline standard to measure other brands up against, okay? So, being that I've been taking herbs and supplements and an athlete for well over 12 years now, actually, and I've tried every other brand of Cordyceps. Again, Hyperion Herbs. I am telling y'all, there's a reason why I recommend Hyperion Herbs all the time for these things. And it's because there's a lot of bullshit on the market that is not good, okay? And you won't know that it's not good if you haven't tried the real stuff, right? You only know good quality herbs by comparison to things you've already tried. So, same thing with ginseng. So many people, they take the low quality ginseng products on the market, and there's all this hype and marketing involved, and you see reviews about it saying I didn't feel it for 3 weeks, and then finally it kicked in. So and now it's amazing and profound. And it's like, if you've actually taken a real ginseng product, you'll feel it on the first day within an hour. So that a lot of these people just have never tried good ginseng, and that's why they're able to be placeboed by these bullshit products. Same thing goes for Cordyceps. So when the first day I took Hyperion Herbs Cordyceps, I was like, holy fuck. I thought that I was taking a good Cordyceps before. I didn't know it was supposed to feel this great. So, yeah. But another thing is, when you take Cordyceps, don't expect to just feel fucking jacked up. I mean, I did the first day I took it. I was on a certain job. I'm going to say what job I was on, but I was on a job, and I just got the sudden urge to do sprints back and forth. It was pretty crazy. I don't know if that was a placebo or not, but yeah. And I just remember feeling like I was a god. I had physical energy that just lasted me 4 days. I just felt like I could endure anything. It was crazy. Anyway, leave your question in the comments down below. Let me know what y'all think, and I will talk to y'all next time.